Positive Talk. That's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Positive stories. We endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything. Fundamental to living this life. So join us right now as together hosting as always on Fridays, and we're very happy. We just finished. I have to tell you all this. We just finished a show with Dana and her significant other, whose name is Jeremy, and the story about Hiram, his second oldest child, who has stage 4 cancer. And we had the opportunity to interview him and his beloved wife, Sophie, and it was a great time. And ladies, I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but Dana actually cried.
Oh, I almost cried with you just saying that.
I know. Well, and Jared did too, which is so cute. I love when that man cries. So cute. It's the most tender, sweet thing.
So what they did is Dana put together a little 5-minute video. She's got a larger one coming and one that's going to go on the GoFundMe page, because we're all going to get together and help them go on a trip, because he is terminal. Although we did book, you'd be happy to know, we booked him for 2030 to come on the show. So
he's gonna be there.
He's gonna be there.
And he agreed. So we'll do that. But I wanted to play this because Dana did such a beautiful job with it. And so get your tissues out. You may need them.
So after we got the news that Hiram had stage 4 cancer and that he was not going to be cured, after several months in the hospital, he was able to come home and live life, as normal as possible. And one of the interesting things that actually took place with this is that his girlfriend from high school ended up coming and visiting him at the hospital. And I just never imagined that this would actually take place, but she fell in love with him again, and they hit it off, and she ended up proposing to him and wanting to marry him, and basically said that pretty much, I'm either going to date you, and when you pass away, I'm going to be heartbroken, or I am going to marry you and be heartbroken. So either way, I'll be heartbroken, and I'd rather live the rest of my life, or the rest of your life, with you, being married to you. So
they've been such a great example of love, and Sophie and her commitment to Hiram, and soaking up every moment. We really have loved witnessing their love story and who they are, and their marriage and their life after. And so we've put together some highlights of these miracles and moments that we've soaked up with Hiram and Sophie, and their story of who they are, and the miracles that we've experienced over the last year and a half. So take a moment and enjoy.
Let it go, let it roll right off your shoulder, don't you know? The hardest part is over, let it in. Let your clarity define you in the end. We will only just remember how it feels. Our lives are made in these small hours, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away, but these small hours still remain. turns of fate, all these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away, yeah, but these small hours still remain. Oh, they still remain. These little wonders, all these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away, but these small hours, these little wonders still remain.
I don't know about you, but I don't know how many times I can watch that. That is Dana put that together on behalf of her fiance, or her significant other's second child, and who's got stage 4 cancer. I'm going to leave the GoFundMe up so that people who would like to can go there. Is it ready, Dana? Is it up?
It's launched, ready to go. It's up. People can donate. It is open. So thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for being willing to share. And thank you to everyone who's listening or watching. Just going on there and sharing that and donating. Every little bit counts and helps. And just thank you. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be supported. I mean, the three of you are some of my closest friends and some of my best friends. So to share in this with you just actually means a lot to me in this moment. So thank you for your generosity, Kevin, and your show. Thank you.
Oh, you have no idea how pleased I am to be able to offer this to you, because it isn't so important. A 22-year-old man who's facing terminal cancer, and his unbelievably gifted wife who said, I don't care what you say, I'm going to marry your ass. And that's just the way it is. It took a whole month to put the wedding together. So in any event, we'll leave that up, and we'll touch bases with you throughout the show. But I wanted to talk to April Millar and Christina Jenkins, because they are here every month, the last or the first of the month. So we're going to talk about the astrological forecast for May, and we're excited to have you both here. First of all, I got to ask you both, what did you think of the Christina? You go first. What did you think of the little film?
I'm not sure why you asked me to go first, because I don't actually know if I can make it through this.
Okay. Well, then we'll go to April. We'll go to April. Maybe she can't either, but we'll
Right.
try.
I'm not sure it's a fair question, Kevin, because yeah, just completely touching. I haven't met either of them, but gosh, the heart, like, it's such a heart opening. Like, it's so interesting how you don't have to know people to feel connected to them, and you don't have to, like, have been, I don't know, in their physical presence to feel like you just want to give everything you can for them. So for sure, that video really was such a beautiful testament to who they are as people and what they've already provided, like the frequency they have provided and elevating this whole world just by who they are. So it was beautiful.
That was beautifully said.
Thank you, April, so much. And Christina, I know this is extra for you because of you've been personally touched by cancer in your life, by close experience for you. So share anything you want, and all of it is wonderful.
I'm just really touched by what you have created for for them, like, I'm just a blubbering mess. So I'm not articulate right now because it really, the whole video touched my heart. Your heart and what you desire to bring into these times of uncertainty and end of life and the pain of losing a child or a spouse. I've experienced both personally, not the loss of, but I have a child who's a cancer survivor and a husband who is disabled from his survival of cancer. And facing their death, I can only imagine what that feels like for Jeremy because of the inevitability, the feeling of inevitability around this. So I just want to offer from the deepest place of compassion and love everything I can offer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Your heart is so big, and I love that about you. And I know this is such a topic that is so real for you too. So, and I do have to say, you guys have been my greatest cheerleading team and my greatest support. And you guys are the reason why I've been able to show up in my strength and my sweetness and in just so much love and big heartedness and keeping my heart open. I absolutely have fallen in love with Hiram and Sophie and who Hiram is as a person and getting to know him. And so thank you guys for your support and who you are. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing? I just want to invite anyone who is listening. This is a worthy cause. I know that anything that is donated to this is absolutely for the well-being of Hiram and Sophie and the family and these last moments in this lifetime of mortality and finiteness that is so meaningful.
Yeah. Thank you.
I would just like to add to that if I could, and that would be, I remember how tough life was when I was 22 and how hard it was to make enough living, enough money to be able to do some of the things that I've been able to do later in life. And because of that, it's important. And by the way, stage 4 cancer is expensive. He just had brain surgery 2 weeks ago. I couldn't believe he was sitting there when we were interviewing him and he had brain cancer. He had brain surgery 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
he turned his head and he's like, yeah, here's the scar.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. It will be up. It's up on YouTube now. So if you want to go watch it on Positive Talk Radio on YouTube, you can watch the entire episode. We're going to keep the GoFundMe up so that if you have a heart, but no, everybody has a heart. But if you feel so inclined, it's a great way to help him know that humanity is in his corner and is rooting for him. And I firmly believe that there can be good that comes from this in one way or another. So anyway, but I'm excited about the fact that you two are here. You come here every month to talk to us about the astrological charts. April turned out to be exactly how you said it was going to be. And so now we're going to be talking about May. Dana, first of all, introduce these two properly, would you please?
Yes. Well, we are so lucky that we get to have you guys every month. And I just have to say, working with Christina and April, because we have coaching programs and things we're doing together. Working with them has transformed my life, transformed my relationships, how I see my life, my world, my future. And so there is so much value that I'm experiencing firsthand by the wisdom of these two women. Understanding my astrology and understanding different experiences that I might have has actually really helped me become more aware and grounded in decision making, especially when emotions are heightened, which you can imagine there's some of that going on in my life right now. And so having a groundedness of the month ahead and an awareness of things that might come up. There's power in this, you guys. Whether you believe in astrology or not actually doesn't matter. There are things that you can get from this call and from these recordings that actually can benefit your life. And really, it's an experiment. What they're going to share with you is your own life experiment. Be open, be curious. That's what I'm going to invite you into during this particular call and their calls moving forward. See what happens and what pops up for you in your life, and see if there's some correlations to these rhythms of life that they're sharing with us. So first of all, I want to introduce Christina. Christina Jenkins. She is the most incredible inclusive leader I have met to date. She's inclusive, she's warm, she's welcoming. I've attended retreats. I will forever I just will want to work with Christina and be a part of things that she creates, because she is my kind of person. She shows up as a powerful leader, and she brings the wise woman wisdom to everything she touches. And I love that about Christina. She's an incredibly gifted in an array of areas. I got to spend a little bit of time in Idaho with her a couple weeks ago, and we were making all kinds of, she calls it kitchen witchin', and we're making all kinds of fun roll-ons and oils and little tinctures and things like that, getting ready for our retreat. But she's an incredible wealth of knowledge and wisdom. So Christina, thank you for being on the show. And April Millar, what can I say? April Steed Millar is she's one of a kind. Like April, when she puts her mind to something, it's like, oh, of course, like I'm April. I just make it happen, and life just happens for me. And April has become one of my dearest friends, somebody I turn to regularly to talk things out in my life. And she is a phenomenal coach. The wisdom that comes from her in our time that we're connecting and talking, the things that she's taught me, about my children through astrology, seeing my life through the lens of astrology has really been transformational to my core. So I feel deeply honored to be connected to these two women, and they're a wealth of knowledge and wisdom in their own right. So welcome to the show, ladies. So happy to have your wisdom here with us.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you here too. And I was just thinking to myself, we need to talk about May.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand. It helped me here because one time I had John Edward on the show, the psychic medium, and he was reading my sister, and he said, May is a very important month for you. And so it turns out that her daughter, her granddaughter, grandson, and her and Mother's Day are all in May. Is that a coincidence, or did astrologically did she plan that, or what's going on with May? What and my former wife was born in May, and of course we had Mother's Day and all of that as well, and my anniversary. So what is it with May?
Ooh, I mean, May in general is ruled by, like, the majority of May is Taurus, and Taurus is very much like grounded energy, very stable, very dependable, and has a lot of like quality to it. Taurus loves quality, and so I personally have a Taurus sun, and so I really love the Taurus characteristics, and one particularly because it can get a bad rap of like being stubborn and bullheaded and stuck in the mud and all of those, right? However, I like to flip the script a little bit and call it savoring. We like to savor. We like to savor the time. We like to savor the food. We like to savor and enjoy what's happening. And so so as far as like where May is a very big month for you with all of the activity happening in just May in general, I think that's super fascinating. Because Eastern astrology, what is it? It's the year, or it's the month of the snake. right?
It is the month of the snake. So there's a lot of rebirth energy that goes along with May. When we look at May 1st, May Day, Beltane, like this is a tradition right between the equinox and the solstice. It's the midpoint. And that's something that's celebrated all the way across, which is new birth. And so like this whole, it's when spring in the Northern Hemisphere really starts to hit in, when we really start to see the flowers growing. And so it is significant. This Taurus, beautiful, grounded, earth-centered energy, and you know, the earth mother in all her glory with the beautiful flowers and blossoms and the smells. And I mean, if you walked outside in the spring and you can just smell the flowers, smell the fresh rain. So there is a lot of significance to the month of May. It is also this time where we've moved into this March, is named after Mars, the god Mars, and then we are in Aries season, so this is fast paced, and it's like, and now let's just rest. So we see this as a macrocosm of life cycles too, this time to just settle down.
Kind of breathe a little bit. Yeah, get a little bit, like take some time. Take more time.
So I have one more question about May, if I can. And that is, I experienced something very strange. I had no idea, but I got married on May 21st and I got divorced on May 21st. What the hell does that mean?
Well, you were in Gemini season, most likely, the twins.
Which the twins is like good, like the evil twin and the good twin. So you experienced the good twin when you got married and the evil twin when you got divorced, I guess. Like you just had the ability of that archetype.
Yeah, you have no earthly idea how accurate that is.
Kevin, when is your birthday?
My birthday happens on a day you probably have never heard of it. 9/11, 1957.
That's a good day.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those days that everybody remembers. But you guys actually had my chart up at one point in time.
We did, and I've looked at probably 100 charts since then, so I just can't quite remember. But I know that that's something we're going to do on this show sometime, is read your chart.
Mm-hmm.
So Virgo, you're a Virgo, right?
Correct.
So I just wanted to make sure we established that you are aware of that energy. Virgo can get really analytical. Virgo is a mutable sign, so there is this energy to it. Sometimes this anxious energy. Virgos can get on the overanalyzation hamster wheel. Virgo is like constantly searching for perfection when what it's really seeking is wholeness. So no wonder you're attracted to this Taurus energy that's like, let's sit under the tree and smell some flowers and just be present with the earth and this oneness. Like that can be a very attractive energy. Virgo and Taurus are both earth signs, so they show up in a different way. So to balance out some of that quick moving energy of your mutable, that attractiveness of the stability, real or not real, that Taurus energy, the realness of the energy, how it shows up in human form can sometimes, there's light and shadow to everything. So it doesn't surprise me at all that May is important to you.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I thought maybe it was like that for everybody, but apparently not. So, but anyway, let's talk about May for all of us. What's going to happen in May? What are your charts tell you? What do you tell you? As a matter of fact, I need to take a quick break because we've gone over, but let me do this real quick, and then we'll talk about May's astrological chart for everybody, including there's a trial going on someplace. I don't know if we can figure that part out or not, but we'll be right back.
They have your eyes. They have your ears. They have your smile. Now all they need is a little more of your time. Make a difference in your child's life. because anyone can be a father. It takes time to be a dad.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Dana, do you like my new song?
Yeah, love it.
Oh, good. So anyway, let's talk a bit about May for everybody. It's what's going to happen this month, guys?
Well, this month actually is a little bit more of like a breather. I'm curious, how was April for everyone? Because that actually had some pretty intense energy around it. So, how did you experience April, Kevin?
Well, I was lying in bed one morning and I get a phone call. Dana knows about this story. I get a phone call. This is the day after the eclipse.
Okay.
I get a phone call and the lady says, "It's Kevin McDonald." And I said, "Yeah, that's me." She said, "Oh, I'm calling from San Diego." I said, "San Diego? Well, that's nice." She said, "I work at the medical examiner's office, and we're trying to track down relatives or people who know this person." And I said, "Well, she dated my son a dozen years ago for a long time." And she said, "Well, I have bad news for you. She has passed away. She on eclipse day jumped off of a building and died and stuff." So I helped her out and stuff like that. But that was part of my May. It was kind of weird, quite frankly.
Yeah, very much big change energy happened in April. Lots of shifts, lots of big stuff happening in a lot of people's lives. So May, we kind of get this there's still things happening and we'll talk about it, but there's a little bit of a less intense atmosphere to it. So
that's good. We
I
can
would
all
say
use a bit of
especially
a break, I think. Go ahead. Go ahead,
this
Christina.
first part where we are in Taurus season, where we get to just do a little bit of this slowdown. In May, on the 20th, we move into Gemini season, so things will speed up slightly, especially because after the sun moves into Gemini, Venus moves into Gemini, and so there will be like an uptick in the energy. But it's going to lack the intensity that we were experiencing in April. There is one transit that's a big one that I did want to spend just a little bit of time on, and that's Pluto going retrograde. Are we ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Pluto is part of this intensity that we've been feeling this year, and particularly in April, just because of some of the ways that Pluto and the other planets were talking to each other. So Pluto is in Aquarius right now, and it's going to go retrograde. Now, Pluto, and we've talked about retrograde planets and other things, so I'm not going to go into the science of that. It's an optical illusion that looks like it's going backward. So Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008. If everybody just thinks back to 2008 and the intense changes that happened in 2008 that we're still feeling the effects of now. And then it's been transiting through Capricorn, dipped into Aquarius last year, came back into Aquarius since the beginning of this year. It's going to go retrograde and hit Capricorn one last time in the fall. And then it's going to be permanently in Aquarius until 2044. So what does that mean? Right now, can you feel a little, go ahead, April.
Oh, keep going.
Can you, people are feeling a little bit of the unrest. We have some political, interesting things that are happening that are unprecedented, that are transformational, that there is this element of hopefully alchemizing, but right now, the process of alchemization can be messy before you get to the alchemy part, right? Before it changes into something else, there's a messiness to it. And so Pluto going back into Capricorn, so we're going to feel it move retrograde, and then it's going to move backwards, and we're going to feel a grasping onto the power, because Pluto is about power and Capricorn is about hierarchy. Okay, so we're going to feel this grasping onto the old ways, onto tradition, onto some of the hierarchies that actually are not serving us, but there is an energy of hanging on to these things because Aquarius is innovative. Aquarius is unusual, off the beaten path, and that's where we're headed, folks. And it's going to be awesome, and it's going to feel great once it stops hurting. How's that?
Do you know what is so interesting about this to me is that this, if you really think about it, this is kind of growing pains, if you will. Anytime we go into new phases of our lives, actually a part of us does die. And I think there's parts of us that have an ego that kind of grasps for, think about the transition from being single to married, from being married to having kids, those kinds of real big life transformations. There is this alchemizing that takes place within us as even human beings, and you can really relate to this understanding of what we're going to be experiencing on the collective by kind of pinpointing, some of those big life changes for you where maybe there was internally some resistance of like, no, I don't want that part of my life to end. And I don't know if I'm ready. And I know this last month I've had some of those moments in some big changes that are happening in my own life. And so it's very relatable. And if you're paying attention, you'll maybe notice that on a collective we'll experience this, but also in your own personal life. Where is that happening for you? Where maybe are you holding on to some of those power struggles or needing to keep power and having a hard time letting go and trusting in the flow, trusting in the collective, transforming some of these old ways of seeing this life in this world and seeing life through a new lens. So I just wanted to bring that back into how the listeners might experience that or how it might show up.
Well, and I just to kind of give a reference of Pluto too. Pluto, we all know Pluto was demoted as a planet. However, he's not happy about it. Just like truly, Pluto is the planet. Even though he's small, he is mighty, and he really does have a really powerful energy to him. Kind of that like little man syndrome or the Napoleon effect or whatever, where he comes in and he wants to just burn down what's not working so it can be built up. And so he very much has, like, in the shadow form, Pluto is manipulation and control. And then in the higher vibration, it's transformation and surrender. And so Pluto's going to come in and work his magic essentially by shifting things to break it down so he can build it back up. And so in your life, and he moves so slow. So it actually is this very much an alchemizing process. It is very much this like slow drawn out thing. If you think about 2008, what happened in 2008, it was, and Capricorn's characteristics are like that hierarchy, tradition, authority, corporation, honestly. And we saw that in 2008, we had a huge recession of ways that the like financial institutions, a lot of corporations, there were hiring freezes everywhere. Like it was just this big shift of like, okay, this is not working. We have got to fix this. And actually, as it's continued to go through, as Pluto has continued to go through Capricorn for the last 14 years. I don't know how to do math subtraction very well, but
16 actually.
16. Thank you. 16 years. We have seen, different, like, think about all of the ways that all these big industries have actually been turned over. We're talking like hotels. We're talking travel. We're talking like so many different big like financial institutions, like all of these big things. Other people have been able to figure out how to, and I mean, celebrities even think about like being famous. Anyone can be famous now, which is, that was all innovated during this time as Pluto went through through Capricorn. And so we're going to be seeing a different space. I love that Christina mentioned that like last little dip into Capricorn, because there is going to be, you'll see big people at the big top of things trying to grasp onto their power, trying to keep the way it's always been. Because with Pluto in Aquarius, things cannot stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
And you will find that in your life as well. If you are able to understand how to read a chart, your specific natal chart, you can figure out where Pluto is doing his magic in your own life. And if you don't know, we actually have our Work with the Moon subscription. You can work with the moon. We have monthly full and new moon workbooks, but we also have an area in the membership area called Astro Geeks, where we very simply help you understand how to read your natal chart.
So
And
with
Christina and April too are available for sessions. Highly recommended by somebody who's personally experienced both of their coaching. Highly, highly recommended, because again, that awareness gives you power to be like, oh, I know what this is. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure and I'm terrible, and being hard on yourself, or blaming it on circumstances, or really resisting what's happening and how Pluto's showing up in your chart, which resistance just breeds bigger emotions. That eventually is going to explode, that resistance. And so the best thing you can do is become aware. And when you have that awareness, then you can kind of call it out for what it is. Like, oh, like in this fall, when we see that grasping happening maybe on the collective scale in politics and in maybe corporations and businesses, we can be like, oh, I know what that is. And we don't have to get as wrapped up in brought into the emotions of the story. We can call it out for what it is. And so there's so much power in that. And so highly recommending reaching out to them. And if you want a unique reading for you and how it might show up for you to be empowered, I recommend it.
Well, can I add this real quick? Is between the three of you, you've got 3 or 4 different modalities that you do that are all geared for the same thing. So that when one of these days, when we can have live people call in, I want to do the astrological car wash, where we talk about astrology, we talk about what Dana does, and the different aspects of what it is, and somebody can get a complete look at their life in a real short period of time. It really is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. And Kevin, honestly, that's what we do right now. We actually have a group coaching program and called Divine Design Prosperity, to help people with their prosperity mindset and their businesses and their career when it comes and bringing in these different aspects. So that's something people can experience right now. If they want, they can reach out to us and contact us for that. And that's a really affordable group coaching program that would be life-changing. It is life-changing. And we're really excited about that too. So there's numerous ways that you can actually experience that right now as listeners and viewers.
So getting back to the topic on hand for most people, May's going to be a little bit, as I understand it so far, May's going to be a little bit down a notch from what April was, but there's going to be some changes of things that have always been that are no longer going to be the way they used to be, because now they're going to be something different. And that really, if you start looking at the politics of the country and some different things like that, that really does, the timing of it is like right now.
Yeah. Oh, it tracks, doesn't it? That's what I love about astrology. It tracks so well. And we're going to be experiencing this for the rest of the year. It kind of, like, the retrograde starts now and goes through the end of the year. So
this month, taking that time to take a deep breath, to just relax, to be present with your life, to enjoy, like, schedule some time to sit back and just take some breathers, take some time to relax and settle into life, because, April and I were talking about this in the birth process. She used to be a doula and would coach people through their birth experience. And she was like, it was always hard, those women who wouldn't rest and nap before it came time to birth. Like those were hard births because they didn't take advantage of the moment to rest and relax, so that their birth process, they had the energy to move through that birth. So this is such a beautiful example right now of, here's your opportunity, you guys, here's your invitation, is to take that time, take a breather, soak in the energy of life and that energy to go through your own rebirth process.
Yes. And actually for the majority of the month of May, that is absolutely perfect. And it's in the resting that a lot of the creation can happen too. If you think about like this big like growth period that we have in the spring is essentially because of the rest that happened in the winter. And what's really fun is at the end of May 25th, Jupiter moves into Gemini. And that's one of the other really big transits of the year, because Jupiter, it takes about a year for Jupiter to move through one sign. So for the last year, we've had Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. And so Jupiter takes about 12 years to move through the whole entire chart. So it's been 12 years since Jupiter's been in Gemini. And Jupiter in Gemini is awesome because Jupiter amplifies everything, and Gemini is a planet or a sign of communication. And so if you want your voice heard, we're coming into perfect energy for that. So Kevin, with your beautiful podcast, let's expect some even more amplification here of getting your voice out there. And anybody who's listening, cultivate your message during this like rest period at the beginning of the month, and then see how you can bring it into full fruition as Jupiter moves into Gemini and for the next year.
Boy, and I tell you, go ahead, Christina.
You go ahead, and then I'm going to come into a perfect time to set those intentions at the beginning of this month.
No, I was just going to say that Dana's absolutely right. When I was going through the birth process, I was sleepy a lot, and then I would get up and I'd go see my wife and say, "How you doing?" And anyway, so.
Oh, you're one of those.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I love it.
Well,
well, we definitely have had this energy of the rebirth the last month. So on the 7th of May, we have a beautiful new moon in Taurus. And it is such a beautiful, friendly, like earth-loving moon. And there's just these beautiful aspects. That's how the planets are talking to each other through sacred geometry going on. And so it's just this beautiful time to nurture your seeds of intention. And so what are your seeds of intention? Perhaps around the way that you're communicating and expressing as Jupiter moves into Gemini, or about resting and relaxing more, or really enjoying your senses. So I'm going to invite everyone, like that week, the 7th through the 10th, invite your best friends over and have a sumptuous meal, and really candles and flowers and music and all the senses, and just allow yourself to enjoy all the beautiful things that this physical body brings to us. And that would be a beautiful, fertile soil to plant those seeds of intention on the new moon in Taurus. Now, the new moon is when the sun and the moon are together in the sky, whispering secrets to each other. So what secrets are they whispering to each other on the 7th about all this luscious energy?
So does that mean we get to have chocolate too on the 7th?
Do anything that makes you feel just sensuously happy and just lights up your taste buds.
It's been a while since I've been sensuously happy about anything, quite frankly.
Well, then May 7th is your day, Kevin. Mark it on your calendar.
That's funny. Anyway, April, continue, please. You, the two of you are just amazing to me.
Oh, thank you. Well, we have a lot of fun, honestly. So, well, speaking of like fun and adventure, the full moon happens on the 23rd of May in Sagittarius. And so the full moon in Sagittarius is very much Sagittarius is the sign of adventure and exploration. It loves its independence. Well, it loves freedom more than anything. And so somebody who has a lot of Sagittarius energy probably loves to work a non-traditional workout hours, like so that they can have the ability to do what they want when they want to do it. So if like highly recommend that you take the time there towards the end of the month, May 23rd through the energy for the full moon is 23rd to the 26th. And plan something fun, do something fun, enjoy yourself, do something out of the box that isn't something that you normally would have, put yourself out there. Maybe like go on a little trip if you can. So there's definitely some really great energy with that Sagittarius full moon.
So with the Sagittarius full moon, one of my things, because I have 3 signs of my chart are in Sagittarius. I have Mars, Saturn, and Uranus. And so tell us just a little bit about like what, when you have these different aspects in your chart, which just so you know, like you would want to know your full chart, because we all have many different signs in our one chart that are highlighted. And so I highly recommend going and looking up your chart to see all the different aspects of who you are. So tell us a little bit, because we have these 2 different signs. What happens when you have some of those signs in your chart when these energies are pulling up for the month? Like Taurus and Sagittarius.
Yeah. Okay, repeat the question, because I have an answer, but then I'm like, actually, I don't know if that was answering what you were asking.
Yeah. So like, I want to take me for an example. I have 3 Sagittarius signs in my chart. What might I experience through the time of Sagittarius with those highlights being that is a sign that I'm actually connected to highly in my chart?
Yes. Okay. That's such a good question, because they're planets that aren't like, your sun sign or your moon sign or your rising sign. However, you do have a lot of energy there. So then, yes, it is absolutely activated. And when the current moon moves in, it actually activates all of that energy. And so then everything that's in there, that Saturn, that Mars, that Uranus gets to be like lit up. And so taking action on things. So Mars loves to take action, loves motivation, loves to go and do. And I'm pretty sure, I was trying to remember like where it is in your chart, but I'm remembering my chart, because Dina and I are only a month apart. So we actually have a lot of similar, of the like outside planets. We have a lot of similar energy.
Mars is in my 3rd house.
Okay.
And Uranus is in my 3rd house, and Saturn is, I think they're all in my 3rd house.
Yeah,
They are.
so which is actually really fun, because Sagittarius is the natural ruler of the 9th house, which is the opposite, and that's the communication access. So it would be so great for you to spread your ideals. So Sagittarius loves philosophy, loves to like discuss ideas in a form of like, what do you think about this kind of thing? And so if you were to engage in a great conversation with a friend, or put it out there, put what you believe out into the world, because it's lighting up your house of communication.
Wow.
So
that is so cool, because I feel like I unknowingly am prepping for that, like creating a foundation. Like I revamped my website, I revamped a lot of areas so people can get a hold of me with the coaching program that we're doing. Like and just getting social media posts ready. It's so cool. It's so cool.
And
like, oh, I'm prepping.
Yes, and can I offer that? So Mars, you're taking action. Saturn, you're putting some structure around it, and Uranus, be anything that might be shocking to you. Let it out. Do it. Like if there's a surprising way of you describing something, absolutely go for it.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I just
And
love
can I
this.
just also say, you've got this, the sun is going to be in Gemini too, which rules the third house. So you have tons of third house activation. This is cosmic wind at your back, girl, and you've already started to notice it. Let the wind get in those sails and just move you forward.
Oh my gosh, it is so cool. You guys, this is just amazing. And I want to be clear, okay? I'm a newbie when it comes to astrology. Like, and I'm a pretty quick learner, and I've been lucky enough to actually have a lot of time with Christina and April as I work with them. And I have lots of questions always. But this is so new to me, and you guys give me so many good golden nuggets. It's so validating too. The thing I loved is the kind of confidence of like, oh, I'm doing my life really well, actually. And a lot of the previous experiences, because I'm a recovering perfectionist and people pleaser. And so as such, in the past, there's been a lot of self-doubt, moments of self-doubt. And you guys, when you share these things with me, it like deepens my confidence of like, oh, my intuition and my flow with life, I'm tuned into myself. I'm doing really good at my life and this human thing, you know?
Yes,
indeed you are.
So thank you.
Yes, and please know that if you're listening to this, it's similar energy for you. Just because it's not in your third house of communication, there still is that energy of the philosophy and the ideals and the communication and the exploration and the adventure. So you absolutely get to access that.
Because you're your whole chart. Everyone has Sagittarius in their chart.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to astrology and you're like, that doesn't really track, it doesn't really let it might not, because you're your whole chart.
Yeah.
So look at the whole thing.
So it's really helpful to have somebody who actually is fluent in reading the whole thing to be able to help you understand a lot more about yourself, because I know Dana, whenever we talk to you guys, we learn more about ourselves, and a lot of it is just validation of who we are and what we are, and then you say, well, this is why you are who you are and what you are, which is really cool.
Yeah. And the validation is actually so nice, because there's just like Dana, what you were saying, how you already had this urge and you're already doing this. And then it's like, oh yeah, here you go. That's exactly what is showing up energetically in your life. So, and it's like, yes, I did. I'm doing it. Well done. Like following my own intuition and taking action on things that I felt inclined to do. So
yeah, interestingly enough, Kevin, the Sagittarius that's in your chart is in the third house of communication also. And so how cool is that? And I think it's a great time looking at that. Would you ladies agree? Again, I'm the newbie here, but as I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, Kevin, you deserve to be speaking out about and sharing your ideas, and set up some expectations that your ideas are heard, that they're heard by the right people that are going to contribute and help expand your viewership and the funding of Positive Talk Radio. Like, this is a great month. May is a great month for you to do that.
yeah,
I agree. And we are working hard to make that happen. It really is unique, because all the charts say that this is exactly what I should be doing.
Yes.
And that over time that it's going to be very successful, and we're seeing the results of that now. So I'm just, you guys are really, 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 really good. If somebody is www.workwiththemoon.com, where somebody would go to be able to work with you and talk with you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
yes. Yes.
That's www.work for those of you that are not visual, because it's right there on the screen. But if you're on the Brushwood Media Network, you have no idea what I'm talking about being visual, because that's audio. www.workwiththemoon.com. That's not howl with the moon. That's workwiththemoon.com. And
Thank you for that clarification.
That's actually a really good idea, though. Like, especially a Sagittarius full moon. Go out there and howl at it. That would be fun.
So fun.
and what you do is you take a chicken and you put it in a bag, and then you go outside and you twirl it. Never mind. I'm just kidding. That's an old joke.
You know what is hilarious about that is, as I've gotten more into like astrology and the metaphysical things, my husband is always skeptical, and somebody asked him what would be like the boundaries, like what would be the line. And he said, oh, I don't know, maybe animal sacrifice. Okay.
You're like, done. Yeah, me
good.
too. Me too. We're good. We have the same line.
Now hold on here, because you just remember that in the Old Testament they used to sacrifice animals all the time,
Right.
And to go to the temple, you could buy, which is one of the things that Jesus got in trouble for. You could buy animals at the temple to go in and sacrifice them, and stuff. So the animal sacrifice is not out of the realm of mainstreamism stuff.
And Kevin, we're in 2024 now. Just so you know, 2024 is where we're at now.
Is that a year or what is it?
Yeah, we're in year 2024 now.
We've evolved a little bit past that.
We do not. I don't want to say personally, I do not support animal sacrifice, but I'll just leave that to my own personal ideas.
Okay, when was the last time you went to the grocery store and bought a piece of meat in cellophane?
That's different than what we're talking about.
Then in the name of God kind of situation.
Exactly.
Oh, gotcha. I know. I get it. So
I'm glad we clarified this topic, you guys.
But ladies, I want to thank you for being here again. You're going to be here at the end of May again, and we're going to talk about June, and then in the summer, because we're getting close to the all important day or month of November. I would love to find out what is going to happen in November.
You know what? That we should do a special podcast just on November to kind of fill into the candidates, to fill into the energy, because actually, guess what? That's when Pluto moves back into Capricorn is November, like October, November. And no, that's not true. It's when
that's true. November 19th. It moves back into Aquarius.
And forever.
20 years.
And Mars actually goes retrograde in November, right around the election. So there is a lot of intense energy in November for sure.
It's crazy man energy. Yeah. So, ladies, thank you so much for being here. We got to go, but Dana, anything before we go?
Nope. Thank you. We appreciate your viewership and for you listening in. Please let us know. Let us know if there's anything you want to know about, that you want to know more about. We're here for you. Thank you.
And go to the GoFundMe and look at the beginning of this show, or go to YouTube and watch the last show that we did. It'll explain everything. And so, ladies, thank you for being here. You guys are just awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll just stay right where you are. I'll be right back. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin at KM Media.